Welcome back to Spiritual Summaries. In today's video, we're going to journey through Genesis chapters 21 to 26. From the miraculous birth of Isaac to his own trials and triumphs, these chapters are packed with themes of promise, family dynamics, and God's unwavering covenant. We'll explore key moments like Isaac's marriage to Rebekah, the complex relationship between his sons Esau and Jacob, and how Isaac himself navigates challenges similar to those faced by his father, Abraham. I'm using the King James Version for these summaries, but feel free to follow along in any version you prefer. And remember, these summaries are meant to pique your interest. For a fuller understanding, I highly recommend diving into the chapters yourself. So, let's get started. Genesis chapter 21. This chapter is a significant moment for Abraham and Sarah. After years of waiting, Sarah gives birth to their promised son, Isaac. The joy of this miraculous event is evident, but it also creates tension in the household. Sarah sees Ishmael, the son of her handmaid Hagar, mocking, and this doesn't sit well with her. She urges Abraham to send Hagar and Ishmael away. Abraham is conflicted, but God assures him that he will take care of them. With limited provisions, Hagar and Ishmael are sent into the wilderness. Just when things look dire, God shows Hagar a well, saving them and promising that Ishmael will also father a great nation. Finally, the chapter concludes with Abraham entering a treaty with Abimelech, a Philistine king. They make an agreement at Beersheba, and Abraham plants a tamarisk tree, calling upon the name of the Lord. So, that's Genesis chapter 21, a chapter rich with events that influence the lineage of both Isaac and Ishmael. Now, let's delve into Genesis chapter 22, which is often referred to as the binding of Isaac. This is an emotionally charged chapter that presents Abraham with a gut-wrenching test of faith. God asks Abraham to take his son Isaac to a mountain and offer him as a sacrifice. Abraham obeys, not telling Isaac the full extent of what is to happen. As they climb the mountain, Isaac innocently asks where the lamb for the offering is, to which Abraham replies that God will provide. Upon reaching the summit, Abraham ties up Isaac and prepares to carry out the sacrifice. However, just as he raises the knife, an angel of the Lord calls out to him, stopping him in his tracks. The angel tells Abraham that his faith has been proven and that he doesn't have to go through with it. At that moment, Abraham spots a ram caught in a thicket and sacrifices it instead of Isaac. God reiterates his promise to bless Abraham and make his descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sands on the seashore. This chapter ends on a note that both tests and confirms the power of faith. So, that's a quick look at Genesis chapter 22. The story provides a profound meditation on faith, sacrifice, and divine intervention. Next up is Genesis chapter 23, which takes a solemn turn as we learn about the death of Sarah, Abraham's wife. This chapter primarily deals with Abraham's quest to find a proper burial place for Sarah. Sarah passes away in Hebron, and Abraham mourns for her. Recognizing the need for a permanent burial place, Abraham approaches the Hittites, who own the land where he is residing. He specifically asks for a piece of property that contains the cave of Machpelah. After some negotiation, Ephron the Hittite agrees to sell the land to Abraham for 400 shekels of silver. Abraham purchases the field, which includes the cave and the trees surrounding it, and this becomes the family burial ground. Sarah is then laid to rest in the cave of Machpelah, near Mamre. The chapter serves as a significant point in Abraham's life, marking not only the loss of his wife but also his first legal claim to the land that God had promised him. That's the essence of Genesis chapter 23. It's a chapter that talks about love, loss, and legacy. Moving on, let's explore Genesis chapter 24. This is a pivotal chapter as it sets the stage for the next generation, introducing us to Isaac's future wife, Rebekah. Abraham, now old, asks his servant to find a wife for Isaac from his homeland, rather than from the Canaanites. The servant sets out on a journey back to Mesopotamia, where Abraham's family originally came from. Upon arriving, he prays for a sign to recognize the right woman for Isaac. Shortly after, Rebekah appears. She not only provides water for the servant but also offers to water his camels, fulfilling the sign he prayed for. Convinced she's the right choice, the servant meets Rebekah's family and requests her hand for Isaac. Gifts are exchanged, and the family gives their blessing. Rebekah travels back with the servant to Canaan and meets Isaac. It's love at first sight for Isaac, who is still mourning the loss of his mother, Sarah. He takes Rebekah as his wife, finding comfort and love in her. And there you have it, a chapter rich in themes of faith, divine guidance, and love. Now, let's delve into Genesis chapter 25, a chapter that marks significant transitions and introduces new key characters in the biblical narrative. In this chapter, Abraham marries Keturah and has more children, but it's clear that Isaac is the heir of God's covenant. Abraham passes away at the age of 175 and is buried next to Sarah in the cave of Machpelah by his sons Isaac and Ishmael. The chapter also focuses on the birth of Isaac's twin sons, Esau and Jacob. Right from the womb, there's tension between the two. Esau, the firstborn, is a skilled hunter, while Jacob is a quiet man who prefers to stay close to home. In a moment of hunger and weakness, Esau trades his birthright, the privileges of the firstborn, to Jacob for a bowl of lentil stew. This seemingly small event foreshadows a larger, more complex relationship between the two brothers that will unfold in the chapters to come. That's a wrap for Genesis chapter 25, which lays the groundwork for the complex relationships and events that follow. Next up is Genesis chapter 26, a chapter that largely focuses on Isaac, the son of Abraham. Isaac, like his father, faces a famine in the land. God appears to him and reconfirms the covenant he made with Abraham, instructing Isaac not to go to Egypt but to stay in the land of the Philistines. In return, God promises to bless him and his descendants. Isaac settles in Gerar, and like his father, he tells the locals that his wife Rebekah is his sister, fearing they might kill him to take her. However, King Abimelech eventually discovers the truth and warns his people not to harm Isaac or Rebekah. As Isaac's prosperity grows, so does the envy of the Philistines. They fill his wells with earth, leading to disputes over water rights. Isaac moves away to avoid conflict and digs new wells, finally finding a place of peace and abundance. The chapter concludes with a covenant between Isaac and King Abimelech, echoing the peace agreement that Abraham had with Abimelech's predecessor. It's a chapter rich in themes of God's faithfulness, human fear, and the ongoing legacy of Abraham's covenant with God. And there you have it, an exploration through Genesis chapters 21 to 26. From Isaac's birth to his own challenges and the formation of his family, we've uncovered an array of stories that touch on divine promises, human relationships, and moral dilemmas. If these stories have piqued your interest, I strongly encourage you to read these chapters for yourself. The Bible has so much more to offer in terms of depth and insight. I've been using the King James Version for these summaries, but you're welcome to choose any version that resonates with you. If you've enjoyed this video and want to keep up with more spiritual summaries, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new content. Thank you for joining us today, and until next time, delve deeper into these timeless narratives on your own.